It's been so long. I know. Welcome everyone. Welcome to another YouTube video. My name is Olaiton AK, and I'm back. So whether you're looking to apply to graduate school, or you know someone that's applying to graduate school, or you're even already in the process of applying to graduate school, you need a visa. Specifically for the US. However, this video would also apply to many other countries as well. If you're applying for a student visa in the US, the student visa category is called the F1 visa. So there are very important things that you should know before you apply for a student visa to the US, and I'm going to share a few of that in this video. Okay, so just make sure you stick around. First thing you want to know when you're applying for a student visa to the US is to have all your documents together. The first and the most important document is, of course, your passport, and by this I mean your international passport, of course. Apart from your international passport, you also need a document from your school, which is called I-20. Now, the I-20, it's a document that gives the details of your school, the course you are being admitted into. It also has detail of how much funding you have or not. It has also some specific details concerning your school, which is vital for your visa officers or for the immigration officers to know concerning you and your endeavor in the country that you're going to. So I'm going to narrow this down to the US specifically. Like I said earlier, the student visa in the US is called the F1 visa, and I mentioned that the first document you should have is your passport. You should also make sure you have your I-20 and your admission documents. Okay, the school you've been admitted to, you should make sure that you have your documents of admission. That's your admission letter, and you should also have your funding letter if that comes separately. There are several other documents that might be important, but it's crucial for you to check with your school to ensure that they are documents that are necessary for you to have with you. But these documents I've listed: your international passport, your I-20, your admission documents, or your admission letters and funding are the crucial documents you should have with you. And I know that across various student visa levels, these documents are important for you to have with you. So having this document with you, so the next thing you also want to do is you also want to find out the kind of questions that you might be asked during your visa interview. So some questions are peculiar with your situation. So for example, some people might be traveling alone, or some may be traveling with family members. So in this video I'm going to address specifically those that will be traveling alone. So if you're traveling alone and you're attending a visa interview, at this point I want to believe that you already have been able to secure a visa dates for your visa interview. And one important tip I also must mention is that while you're securing a date for your interview, you want to make sure that you get a date that is as close enough to your resumption. Now, this is one mistake that a lot of international students make when they are applying, when they are trying to get a date, or when they are going for their visa interview. So if you're resuming in the fall session, for example, which usually starts around August, you want to make sure that you get a date that is as close enough. If possible, if you get dates from like between April to maybe July at the most. I know that there are some situations that require that the individual is not able to get a date close enough, but you want to make sure that in that particular situation you've been able to get in touch with your school, and your school has a letter that can address your situation. But if you do not have a situation that is unique enough for the visa officers to understand, you might want to do well to get a date that is close enough. Another thing that getting a date that is close enough helps you to do is that if in case you are not able to secure the visa at your first attempt, you are also able to make another attempt at securing your visa. And Also, getting a close enough date also helps you to prepare um, for uh, for school, right? In most cases, you're going to a different country, a new country for the first time, and for most people, it's their it's their first experience. So you want to make sure that you've gotten a good date and you're able to, strike your visa interview out of the way, so that you're able to have enough time to prepare, enough time to, to say the goodbyes, to do your last crossing I's and dot them, crossing T's and dotting I's, however it is, okay. And you also have enough time to travel and settle into the new country. So anyway, so getting a close enough date is the second one. The first I mentioned is ensuring that all your documents are complete. The next I mentioned is getting a close enough date. Now, when you get a close enough date and you finally are at your visa interview venue, okay, first lovely dog, by the way. First, you want to ensure that you answer the questions as asked, okay. One important tip that people usually also share is that you answer the questions you're asked. A lot of people make mistakes of oversharing, and in this situation, oversharing might not be wise, okay. So when you're asked questions, you want to make sure that you answer the questions you're asked as truthfully as possible and as straight to the point as possible. Using things like, oh, thank you for the question, that most people usually say may not be necessary. You may not have to say thank you for the question, and every time that you are asked, just answer whatever question you're asked and move on to the next one. For many visa interviews, okay, I can speak for many African countries, Nigeria as one, for example. There are a lot of people that are usually being interviewed, okay, so nobody has time for you to for repetitive answers, and some of these things are things that even disqualify candidates, right? So you want to make sure that you answer questions correctly, answer them straight to the point, and you also want to make sure that you are confident, not being overly overconfident, but just want to make sure that you are confident in about the questions you're being asked. Usually the questions that you're going to be asked, or what they usually want to know, is maybe why you chose the country, for instance, why you chose your school, whether you have funding or not, when you have funding, how much funding you have, and when you do not, your plan to cover your expenses while you are living in the US, or while you are in that particular state, or in that school, or in that country. So those are some of those points that are necessary to to keep in mind. You want to make sure that you prepare a clear enough answer, right? And usually you just have to be honest. I mean, provided that you got all your admissions, you did all the processes yourself, I believe that being honest should not be a difficult thing. You should be able to explain truthfully how you went through the process while not necessarily oversharing, okay, to these officers. And a tip that might also be important is to probably get in touch with some students that might be, or current students in your program or your school, to ask them what their experiences with visa interviews were when they did it in their country, and possibly get like a mock interview. You could get someone to interview you, and so just so that it prepares you and it puts you in that mood to be able to answer your questions. So I already shared some tips, like making sure that you have all your correct documents. I also talked about making sure that you get a good enough time for your interview date, and I mentioned answering questions honestly and appropriately, not necessarily oversharing. And lastly, I also mentioned that it might be good to get in touch with current students in that program and ask them what their experiences are, or ask if you could, if you're lucky enough to get a mock interview with one of them. That would really help. So I hope that these tips have been useful for you. Remember, I'll be in the comment section if you have further questions. I'll also be dropping my email if you have any other questions concerning this. I'll be making more videos in this area, and I'll also like if you can make suggestions to me on the type of videos that you want me to make. as it regards student visas or graduate school or for international students. So I'll see you again in my next video. Thank you for watching, and please make sure you like, you comment, and please drop your comments for me. And yes, those are the things that will help me to know what else I should do or how to better improve this. And and please share, please share the video to friends, other people that might be in need of this information. Thank you so much, and see you in the next one. Bye.